Hey guys, unbelievable. I am outside in on the edge of this stream here, which is leading from where I live up yonder outwards into the fields. Going for a walk by me lonesome because I want to and I like walking a lot, it turns out. Also, I have found ripe uh, ivy berries that I will harvest. I would prefer myself to, let me see if I can snip that like this. Oh, you actually can pull them off like that. So lighting is going to be, this is fairly okay to look at, right? So these, when they're ripe like this, they actually look sort of blue-black. There's the unripe version as well, right here. There's some that look green like that, and those are actually buds, I think, or flowers coming, probably buds still. So, whole long story, this you can turn into paint. And I was thinking just now, okay, so a little bit of a tale here as I stand here and sort of let it sink in that I can actually walk for me for pleasure, to be outside, connect to the land, connect to the green, to whatever I can, make of my day by myself. Especially if it's not raining and it's not really grey and dismal, which is today is a good cold day. We've had a little bit of a frost during the night, and so this is a golden opportunity. I'm realizing that in this country, in the Netherlands, where I live, have lived here for, I don't know, 30 years or so by now. It's a really good country in lots of ways. I'm really grateful for the life that I get to have here with my husband, and everything's sort of, life is sometimes not easy, and it has, on my channel, I sometimes share my travails and things. However, one of the tricky bits about living in this country, it's quite densely populated compared to the south of France, where I lived with my mum when I was a teenager, where we actually, my mum and I, on one occasion, walked through the village on the hilltop where we used to live back in the day and harvested these types of ivy berries and made paint out of them on a memorable occasion once, okay? And we didn't have any gum arabic, which I will also put into the paint once I get around to actually doing that. But I remember now, so the ivy berries are sort of a connection to my mum and also to my memory of going for walks by myself. Most of the time I went, and not often, because maybe 3 times in a winter or so, if I was lucky. Because I was lazy, and had other things on my mind, and often I was tired in winter and I just went to bed and had a huge long ass siesta, which I didn't enjoy at all. It would have been much better if I'd gone out more often. But in the south of France, you had more of a landscape, more of a, different sort of orchards, and there were cherry orchards all around, and it was hilly and colourful and generally really beautiful. So it was easy back in the day to go out for walks for myself, to just enjoy being connected, feeling, the outside air, and look at the colors, look at the plants. I've always very much been a plant person, I found orchids back in the day, little in springtime. Orchids were in late spring, of course. In early in spring, you'd find violets, sometimes flowering wild violets, really fragrant, just amazing. But I used to go for myself, whereas here, my problem is that I always have had this mindset that if I go out, it is in order to go get something. So shopping or otherwise, and groceries or something else. Even if I go into town, I don't really have any friends here because I didn't grow up in this neighborhood at all. I occasionally go to see people, mostly with my husband, but not on my own. And so I've come to have this programming in my brain where I just go out to get things, to go to the shop or whatever. I don't go for walkies, if that makes sense. And now it looks like that's changing because I'm really reminded of how I used to be when I was 16 years old. And I just went, okay, today's a good day for a walk. And off I was for an hour or two, around the hill, down the hill on the one side, out the village, just following mostly the road, to the other village. And you could have, there was a little coffee house down there in the village at the bottom. And there's that's just a nice place also. There's like a sort of a sanctuary with a black Madonna in a crypt. Really pretty, actually. I didn't know about that back then when I was 16 years old. And then, I'd normally just go have a coffee or a drink or something, and then I would go into the valley to the sort of behind side of the steeper side of the hill, back up to the village I actually lived in myself. So it was like a big circuit like that, always the same. And the memories of that are just really good, and I'm actually letting myself have these kinds of memories maybe with this kind of a country walk as well, which is slightly shorter, and then again it does have the ivy berries now. So I'm going to collect some of these and hopefully connect back to you if I have paint to show, because this is weird stuff. The paint that comes out of this it becomes green and purple in different intervals. So I need to really study this, what that actually does. So that's me for today. Thank you for watching, and into the countryside for me. See you next time. Bye bye.